Good morning. This is my new little pup, by the way. His name is Pickles. Sometimes he likes to just sit and chill during meditation, and then sometimes he's like, this is boring, and jumps away. But I've had him for about a week. I am so excited. He's so cute. Anyways, I will give just a couple minutes to see who wants to sign in for the live meditation. Today is the full moon. It's the full moon in Scorpio. And for those of you that means nothing to, I'll explain it a little bit. The full moon is always about letting go and forgiveness. In ancient times, people followed basically the seasons, the cycles of nature. And really, even before that, people were following the migrations of animals as a way of finding food, finding shelter, and finding the areas where that at different times of the season they were able to find all of those things. So over the course of thousands of years and observation of nature, this is really where the beginnings of astrology developed. And they basically had a belief system that the world outside of yourself was the same as the world inside of yourself. And this is where the relationship between the sun and the moon and the stars and our own human embodiment comes from. And for those of you that listen to this and just think it's a bunch of hoo-ha and it's not your thing, on a very practical level, I like to use the full moon and the new moon as little calendar, little dates I have marked on my calendar. Because for all of us, whether we have some kind of spiritual connection, for all of us, taking time to let go at the full moon, to intentionally practice forgiveness at the full moon, it's just a good reminder. And the new moon is about manifesting, setting intentions. What is it that we really want for our lives? So the way that I look at it is it's like I have this little built-in alarm twice a month that's like, Danielle, do your personal work. And the moon is that for me, is the alarm for me. So if everything else I said means nothing to you, that's another way to look at it, because it's always just good to be clearing out. We don't need to be holding on to so many things. A lot of times, especially when it comes to forgiveness, we're holding on to anger or resentment towards people. And what that anger and resentment is doing is it's eating us up inside. It's actually not punishing the other person, and it's hurting them a lot less than it's hurting ourselves. So as an act of taking care of ourselves, as an act of keeping our inner house clean, we spend some time practicing forgiveness and letting go. And as far as forgiveness goes, it comes in layers. We're not always totally ready just to forgive. Things have happened to us, things that were hard, things that we don't want to see repeat, and we put walls up. And because this practice is really about moving slowly, moving at our own pace so that we can continue to do the work, we slowly, gently start to take those walls down. So sometimes when we're practicing forgiveness, we're really just making note that we're ready to forgive a little. We're not fully ready to just let everything open up again immediately, wide open. We're just not there yet. So we accept and respect wherever we are in any moment. So as we work through forgiveness, and I'll remind you during the meditation, as we work through it, just notice where you're at. You don't need to start with the person that you have the most animosity towards. You don't have to start with the person that, you're in the biggest argument with right now. If you're not there yet, start with some people that might be a little bit easier for you to forgive. That way you're more open to doing the practice, and you'll notice as you do it more and more, your heart starts to open a little more, your courage starts to open up a little bit more, and you can start to face some of the more difficult situations and relationships in your life and open up to a little bit more forgiveness. Also, when you start to see the benefits that it has on your own mind and body as you start to let go a little bit. We're going to move through 3 stages, which is forgiveness for other people, asking people forgiveness, and then ending with forgiveness for ourselves, which is sometimes where we are holding on the tightest to, not even realizing it, how we are not forgiving ourselves for mistakes we've made in the past. So yeah, I think that's kind of a good, really short explanation so we can get into the meditation. So take a moment, get into your position, your posture, whatever that may be for you, whether it's seated in a chair like me, which is mostly just because I'm here talking to you on this phone. Usually I sit in a cushion. For some of you, it may be laying down. So find your posture today, and we'll start to settle in. Close your eyes when you're ready. And because we're going to be working with forgiveness for these walls, with these walls that we've built up around our heart, put your focus today on your breath as your chest rises and your chest falls. We'll be breathing into our heart space, bringing in some comfort and some support for this area that can become hardened. So just relaxing into your normal, natural breath this morning and focusing in on the chest, the lungs expanding, the lungs contracting. Breathing in that life force. Setting an intention in this moment to open up as much as you are ready to forgiveness and letting go. From today and over the next 2 weeks, the moon will be moving into a darker phase. And as the moon gets darker and darker each day, can you let go a little bit more? Can you release these chains that bind you? Using these next 2 weeks and working with the natural energies of this planet and its relationship to the moon. Still breathing into that heart space. First, bring to mind some person that you perhaps want to begin to forgive, or are maybe in the process of forgiving. Whether you are ready to fully forgive and fully let go, or just open to the possibility, bring someone here into this heart space. It doesn't have to be your most difficult relationship. Maybe start a little easier today and start to bring them here into your heart with that intention of forgiveness. And repeat this phrase silently in your head. I forgive you. For any hurt or harm you may have caused me. Whether knowingly or unknowingly. Out of your own confusion. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. Continuing to breathe into your heart, you can start to let this person fade away. And keeping your focus as your chest fills with air and empties out. Noticing any residual feelings that may still be there and also letting those be. Letting them slowly drift away at their own pace. Just noticing. And if you feel ready, I want you to bring someone into your heart that you feel you need to ask for forgiveness. Again, you can start small, whether you're ready to ask them face to face or not. Just bring them here into your heart with that intention that forgiveness is possible, that they may forgive you and that you may ask them for forgiveness. Breathing into your heart, repeat these phrases. Please forgive me. For any hurt or harm I may have caused you. Whether knowingly or unknowingly. Out of my own confusion. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Forgive me. Noticing any feelings that may arise in your heart. Letting them go, letting them fade away. You don't need to hold on, but you can let them be and fade away at their own pace. And as we move into forgiveness for ourselves, put your hands over your heart as a way of comforting and supporting your own being. We are not always able to say the right things and act the right way. We make mistakes. And sometimes the hardest thing to forgive is to forgive ourselves for not being perfect. So holding your hands over your heart, setting the intention of self-forgiveness. Repeating these phrases silently in your head. forgive myself. For all the ways I may have hurt or harmed myself. Whether knowingly or unknowingly. Out of my own confusion. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And for all the places where I'm not able to forgive myself or forgive others, I forgive myself for that as well. And for all the places that I am not able to forgive myself or forgive others, I forgive myself for that as well. I forgive myself. Taking a deep breath in through your nose, filling your heart, feeling your hands rise with your chest. Sighing it out, letting it go. Taking one final moment to check in with your heart and where you are at. Opening your eyes when you feel ready. Thank you for joining us. I think today is day 53. It is so nice to connect with all of you here. We will be back every morning as we socially and physically distance. I'll be leading the meditation again tomorrow. And a little later today, I will be talking a little bit more about the Scorpio full moon and doing a tarot card reading over on Diva Danielle on my live story this afternoon. Have a wonderful day wherever you may be. And like my shirt says, if you can see it, let that shit go. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back.